Welcome back, Pisces. And thank you for joining me for your yearly 2020 overview. I got every single other sign done, and then I was recording the Pisces video, and the recording stopped because I had too much on my phone. So I took an extra day just to make sure I had cleaned my crystals and gotten myself in order. And now I'm ready to give you your good yearly reading with ASMR. This is Bonfire Nights. It sounds like there's a bonfire in my apartment. Now, these videos actually are not terribly soothing, and I apologize for that, but it's the nature of a yearly forecast video. If you think about it, your yearly forecast is not going to tell you about all of the days that you spend relaxing on the sofa, watching Netflix, and eating hot Cheetos. Your yearly forecast is going to tell you about all your breakups, all of your job changes, all your life changes, and those things are kind of stressful. So, if anything, the best that I have to offer is a spoonful of sugar to help the medicine go down, so you can watch this 2020 forecast and not end up with your stomach, hopefully, in a tight ball of stress. But I will, of course, do my best to make it soothing. We'll be using first the Enigma deck from the artist Daniel Martin Diaz. I really love this deck. It's a Lotteria style deck, and I can read it kind of like a Lenormand or some of these more simplified oracle decks. And I do actually have a video on my channel of the unboxing that I did for this. So if you'd like to watch that, please do. I can't speak as to the continuing availability of this deck, but it's a really cool deck, and I can't imagine they would have done a super limited printing of it and discontinued it. I know that it was also available through Wacko Soap Company here in Los Angeles, because he did the art show release there. There was every one of these cards was a painting, of course, and then he also has a book that goes along with it. And I really love using the deck because it's got really great paranormal and occult imagery, and I can tell that a lot of metaphysical work on the part of the artist has been translated into the deck. So for the first part of the reading, I'm going to put out 12 cards, one for each month. I actually have been talking to my Pisces friend in Baltimore, who's in the process of putting a venue together, and we're doing a 4-way split. It's the two of us and then 2 other musicians, and it'll be kind of like a dancey, dark, electronic, experimental kind of album. We'll each get 15 minutes, and I'm not trying too hard to plug the project right now, but if you get a chance to check out Woven In, you absolutely should. And that's my friend who's a Pisces. I have a couple of friends who are Pisces, but that's like my ride or die friend. And I'm really excited for her over the next year opening this venue. That's what I love about going all over to different places, is like when you have other friends who move around a lot and they kind of start hanging out with your friend groups in different cities, and you're all best friends. And Pisces are good friends to have. I don't read reversals with this deck. Not that you couldn't, but I do read reversals with the other deck that I'm going to use. Put these away for now. Which will be what I used for the January tarot readings. The Tarot Mukha. I love Art Nouveau imagery. And because the images on these other cards are really simplified, I find it much easier to read reversals with like the tarot, where you have really complex symbolism to unpack. As you'll see, the Enigma deck has a lot of complexity in its own right, but because there's so much room for interpretation, and not these direct symbols in quite the same way, reading reversals doesn't come as naturally to me for it. But that's not to say that it will always be that way. I don't like to be too rigid. I am a fixed fire sign, and of course Pisces is a mutable water sign and rules the 12th house of endings, and is very much like a future looking but also rooted in the past kind of sign. It's just a lot of complexity there, which I really appreciate about Pisces. So I wouldn't say that as a Leo I have a hard time getting along with Pisces or have a lot of opposition to them, but I've never dated a Pisces. And I think the other thing to keep in mind is your sun, moon, rising, Venus, all of your placements really go into making your astrological chart what it is, and you can't really just focus on your sun sign. So do keep in mind too, this reading will be for Pisces, sun, moon, and rising signs. Deal 3 off for the very end. I felt like the reading I did before was pretty good, but I was pretty tired at that point, pretty worn out. And so I'm glad that the whole video didn't save and I was able to do a second take on it. Let's look at January. Oh, cool. We've got self-awareness. And here at the bottom, you've got this double helix of DNA, and you have Braille. So we're looking at being very in touch with everything within your body. If you think about being in a sensory deprivation tank, we have all these little fire flames in a triangle above. The fire of the divine spark, maybe connecting you to your higher power. You've got the Seven of Swords, and the Seven of Swords in the tarot is all about, this card has come up so much for 2020, which is crazy to me because it's all about the idea of winning through cunning, winning through either being underhanded with an opponent or using subterfuge or possibly blackmail. We have the Four of Swords here as well, which is all about being in a state of rest. And we have the Star. The Star is a really great card. It's actually the card of your neighboring sign of Aquarius. So there is air energy here. But the Star is also about coming into not just your self-awareness, but coming into a place where you are being recognized, you are out there in the public eye, and you are able to literally reach for the stars the way that you want to. So it's good that you're able to have these two energies together of the Star with the Four of Swords, so you know that you're getting proper rest. I am a little concerned about this Seven of Swords here. It is in the upright, which means that probably you're the one who feels the need to be somewhat manipulative with people, which is fine. I don't think it's always bad to do that, especially if you really are at a disadvantage in a situation and it could possibly do you some good and isn't necessarily going to be super harmful to the other people involved. I'm not an advocate of lying or anything like that, but I mean, it's not necessarily bad. And we'll see what happens later in the year. Maybe it's coming up here in January because there are repercussions down the line, and you'll probably want to know about that, right? All right. So we have the dragonfly. This card has been coming out for a lot of signs. I feel like especially water and air signs, but maybe I'm remembering wrong. And there's some sacred geometry here on the card, and it's echoed in the dragonfly's wings. But the main takeaway from this is about the dragonfly being a vehicle for the human soul. All right, so we're here in February. We have you feeling trapped. And we do have the High Priestess reversed, so possibly that's these secrets coming out, people finding out about whatever this manipulation is. So that could be you, or it could be somebody else. I don't like to be hard and fast about like you're the one being manipulative, because this is a general reading and I'm sure it's different for everyone. And then we have the Empress here. So we've got some really good energies for you in the first couple months of the year. We've got the Empress, we've got the Star card. These two cards are pretty similar, except that the Star card is Aquarius and the Empress is Taurus. So we've got air energy and then going into earth energy, and the Empress is also ruled by Venus, which is great. This is a great card for Valentine's Day energy. All right, let's look at March, your birthday month. We have the Hive, and this could be all about the ecosystem of your social circle or your workplace, because it's all about how bees have this very delicately crafted ecosystem within the hive. Everyone working together to propagate and raise more of the babies that the queen has. And okay, so the Seven of Pentacles here has been coming out for a lot of people. And the Seven of Pentacles, when it's upright like this, it's all about being very dissatisfied with your job. You can see here, he's worked really hard. He's got this great bumper crop of pentacles, but he's very dissatisfied. So it's all about being dissatisfied with work. And almost everybody's getting the Seven of Pentacles reversed, and I'm taking that to mean that because you're not unhappy at that job anymore, that it's possible you're going to quit that job. It's also possible that things change at the job, but I've literally never been at a job where things changed enough that it was okay for me to stay. So we have the Lovers reversed, and that could be about a choice you're needing to make. It could be about a breakup. If you have recently gone through a breakup or related to some of this manipulation that we're seeing earlier in the year, it could be that someone else is manipulating you. That could be related to a romantic situation. Again, it's a general reading. And then we also have the Five of Swords. So the big deal about the Five of Swords is that you will be victorious, but these people in the background are leaving. So you're losing alliances possibly with those people. So that's important to be mindful of. But it looks like it's possibly the end of a job and possibly the end of a relationship in March. For kind of a fresh start, though, because we've got this victory card in the Five of Swords. That is a card about you being victorious, even if it is at the cost of some of the relationships in your life. And just keep in mind this energy of the beehive, wanting to maintain the overall health of your social circles and basing your interactions with people around that. But I feel like Pisces are generally pretty mindful of that anyway. So I'm not really telling you anything like that because I feel like you haven't been doing that. This is pink kunzite, and this one is an amethyst wand. And so now here in April, we have the tree. And what I like about the tree is that it is a representation of the divine in a physical form that humans can touch and relate to. Tree forms are very analogous to human forms, but in the plant world, there's a lot of cool stuff about trees being portals and trees being sources of knowledge and all kinds of stuff like that. So let's look at what's going on in April. These cards are really warm. Are the rest of them that warm? These ones over here, I guess the candle's a little bit warm. Okay, well that makes more sense. I'm very mindful of temperature changes. So we have the Three of Wands. This is you waiting for ships to come in, and they're not here yet in April, but soon, right? And we have the Queen of Wands here. Now, this could be a fire sign coming in April, but it looks like there's going to be tension with this person. This could be a fire sign, but Queen of Wands reversed is also somebody who is kind of a gossip and a busybody, like kind of more of the, and kind of prideful, possibly some of the more negative fire sign traits. And then we have this Ten of Swords in the reverse. Now, this could be an ending that hasn't happened yet, but it could also speak to a situation that ended, and now you're getting over it. So if this was like a really bad breakup or something that happened maybe this year, now you're getting over it. But we'll have to see if this is saying that's going to happen in the future. But because it's also here with the tree and kind of like building a new foundation and getting back to your roots and all of those cliched tree sayings, So I think probably as far as the chronology is concerned, this is something from the past, and maybe it's related to this person. So maybe it's not that this person's coming in, maybe rather it's that this was the situation with this person and it was in the past, and now you're getting over it and you're waiting for the next thing. You're waiting for these ships to come in. Especially because back here in your birthday month, we had the Lovers in reverse. So I do get kind of like a lonely kind of an energy from that. Not like bad, not like sad cat lady behavior for sure, but you're allowed to mourn the loss of a relationship. Especially if there were things about it that were really hard that have, you know, caused you trauma or injury. And somebody doesn't have to be an abuser to cause you trauma, unfortunately. You know, I think a lot of us cause each other trauma unintentionally, and it's important to recognize that and be able to apologize, and also to be able to work through that trauma on the basis of, this person didn't do this to me because they're a bad person. They did this and I've been deeply hurt by it, but I'm gonna have to cope with that on my own. So here in May, again, we've got more bee symbolism. In March we had the hive, and now in May we have the swarm. The bees are going to war, and it is all for the glory of the queen, to protect the hive. So now we're protecting the hive. We have, again, this Page of Wands. So I feel like this is the same as the Queen of Wands from April. So maybe in April you heard from that person, and now they're coming back with this really immature energy in May. We've got the Three of Swords. So all of the arguments, all the fighting between the two of you, you're over it. You're kind of just like, whatever. But, you know, I see them coming in with this really immature energy, and then also this really hot-headed energy. And so this looks like an angry fire sign coming back in, looking for trouble. Just be careful of that. I don't know what happened with you and this person. Obviously, this is a general reading, but really be on the lookout for that in May, because, you know, this card, like the Ten of Swords, is very much about like an ending. Like, this was devastating. So probably you're over that. And Three of Swords, like probably all of these all the horrible things that this person potentially did to you, you're like over it. Oh man, was this reversed? Yeah, so maybe this wasn't reversed, but this is a very immature energy. And it could be that before they had like this really angry energy, and now they're coming back and they're trying to have like a new kind of an energy with you, but it still just feels like kind of immature. And I would just be careful, because you've already kind of gotten over everything from the past. All right, June, telepathy. So you're going to be really keenly able to communicate with people in June. We have the key to the eye, the spark to the fire, the flame to the arrow, all of that kind of stuff. Really cool feelings. We've got this King of Cups. This could be you in June, just feeling your power, feeling very, very good Piscean water energy. Seven of Wands reversed. You no longer feel the need to defend yourself against everybody. And we also have the World reversed. Now, the World reversed, I think you're really starting to come into your energy. You're really starting to feel your power in communicating with people. And I think the World card here, everything's going to be really good. But nothing is ever perfect. That's why we're here on this plane and not some other perfect alternate universe. So I think that there will be things that you end up dissatisfied with during this time, but I think overall it's going to be really good in June. So that'll be good, especially after this thing going on in May. I'm not saying, now obviously everybody's situations are different, and I'm not saying that this fire sign person isn't right for you, but it does look like there is a lot of history there. And so, like, I want to wait until we get to the end of the reading to really give you a final verdict on that, because, you know, again, like, I don't know your life. I can only give you the guidance that I have here before me. And of course, you could get a personal reading if you wanted to know more. We have the air card. So air energy this month. July is for fellow water sign Cancer, so it's not like we're in an air energy month per se, but let's see what else is going on. We do have the Fool, which is about kind of walking out blindly into thin air, and getting ready to take a big leap. So it's possible that some of you Pisces do have air energy in your chart, and you'll be wanting to use that during this time in that situation. We have the Death card reversed. This is a change that's coming soon, I feel like, because what we have right now is you are implementing this change. And the Two of Wands is all about this person's holding this globe and planning their next strategic move. They're here safely in this parapet, but they're also surveying what else is available out there and getting ready for their next conquest. So I see this Death card as being a future event that's going to be deeply and profoundly changing. And let's see what's going on in August. So here in July, we had the air card, and now here in August, we have the lungs card. So your lungs bring that air into the body. So possibly what we have that we're looking at here is a progression of events. And lo and behold, look who's back. It's that fire sign again, and now they're represented by the King of Wands. This is kind of like, I feel like it's like the final boss. Let's see what we've got going on here. The Devil. Yeah, so if this is a past relationship energy for you, which I feel like it is, here you've got the Devil reminding you of all of your baser instincts, all of the reasons why you were tied to this person, because I can tell from everything that's here that you really had a strong tie to this person, and now you've pretty much, like, by May, even though the energy that they're bringing back to you isn't necessarily positive, like, you have forgiven all of those past events. You're over all of the heartbreak and everything that happened between you guys. And then here we've got the Page of Swords. So again, this air energy. And I wonder if maybe here in August you're thinking about this history, but you've got this new air sign person coming in. It's a very new, like, energy, and it's kind of like you're getting like these signs starting in July that this person is going to come in. And then of course you've got this kind of transition of you letting them into your life. And let's find out what's going on in September. A lot of people have gotten this card in September, the knowledge card. A lot of people are knowing things in September. So this is all about the power that knowledge has in your life. Ace of Pentacles, that's really great. It's an earth sign energy, and of course September is the month of Virgo, so we've got earth energy there, but this is also money probably starting to come in for you in a big way. We have the Six of Swords. Maybe you thought you were going to have to move. You don't have to move. And we have the Four of Pentacles here, so you start to have some money coming in, but you're still holding like really tight to your resources. Maybe you thought that you were gonna have to leave a place where you were living or have to give up a property because of money. So you're still gonna be holding really tight to those resources, but in September you're gonna see new money coming in. So that will be good. We have Earth here again, Earth energies in October. So we've got, maybe you're now grounding because whatever was going on for the rest of the year leading up to September, now you can kind of breathe and ground yourself. We've got the Magician, who is the ultimate manifester. This person is really able to create whatever destiny they choose. We have a King of Swords here, and he's in the reverse. So this could be about like, I feel like King of Swords reversed energy is kind of like a harsh boss kind of energy, but not the same way that, like, King of Pentacles reversed is kind of like a corrupt boss energy. But King of Swords reversed is kind of like somebody who, they're a very clear communicator. It's not like Knight of Swords reversed where somebody's just throwing around harsh words that they don't mean. This person knows what they're saying, and they know how those things are coming across. And it could be an air sign that you're kind of in conflict with, like a more powerful air sign in your life. We also have this Eight of Cups. So here, where you didn't have to leave back here in September, you're not going to have to leave in October, but it looks to me now, because of the chronology that we're setting up here, like you're building up for a move at the end of the year. So while you're not having to leave yet, there is something building up towards you finding a new place. And we do have the Visitation card here. So this can be about a connection to otherworldly beings. And we've got this strand of DNA down at the bottom talking about how otherworldly beings can affect everything right down to our DNA. But this, because we've had these past 2 months talking about a move, possibly, this could be you bringing your otherworldly presence into someone else's life. We do have the Hermit here too. Now this is a Virgo energy card, and it's about knowledge. So we'll look back to September for the genesis of some of these events that are then going to be coming to pass in November. I feel like a lot of the plans that you're making here in September, you're going to start implementing them in November. So we've got the Hermit card, all about kind of retreating into a spiritual gnosis. We've got the Ten of Wands here. You're going to be laying down a burden that you've had that you just don't want to carry anymore. And then we have the sun reversed, which is kind of like the world reversed. So back here in June, we had a lot of these similar energies. We had the world reversed, and we had the Seven of Wands. And now here we've got the sun reversed, and we've got the Ten of Wands reversed. But then you look at the energies that are coupled with that, which are really, really good. We've got, the Hermit, where before you were really feeling in your power as the King of Cups. And we have this other overarching concept where you've got back here in June, we were talking about your telepathy, your ability to communicate with others really effectively, and almost like you don't have to say anything at all. And then here we have visitation. So it's almost like all of these things, not just going back to September, but activities from June and from September are kind of culminating here in November. All right, so let's see how you'll be closing out the year. Be closing out the year with the ear. And we've got stuff dripping out of the ear like it might be infected. This card is definitely about clairaudience, and pay close attention to what people are telling you with their words, even if you might get a different impression. So this will be a good time to really switch back into careful listening mode. We have, this is the Strength card. This is Leo's card. And you can see that she's tamed this creature not by overpowering it, but by charming it. And that's really, I think, one of the really powerful things that Pisces can do. But here we've got this card in the reverse. And we have the Emperor reversed, which is all about being overly authoritarian. And I vaguely recall that the video that ended up getting cut off halfway through, I think that this Emperor was reversed in December in that reading as well. So just be very careful about being overly pushy with people, because really what your strength will be is in your charms and in your ability to listen carefully to what people are saying. And I think here in this month, we have you possibly as the Page of Cups in the reverse. This fish in the cup represents an emotional offering, and it's reversed. I think you're in a place where you don't want to be open with people emotionally, and that's going to turn out to be a weakness for you in December. And it's possible that people are talking smack about you and you're not having it, and that's perfectly reasonable. But that doesn't mean that you should close yourself off. That just means that the people that you've opened yourself up to are not going to be conducive to a healthy state of mind for you. And it's important to realize that opening yourself up is not a weakness. Opening yourself up to people is a strength that Pisces is actually very good at. And it's important to nurture relationships with people who are going to be feeding you emotionally, and not people who are going to be bringing things into your life that are not welcome or conducive to your emotional health. All right, let's look at the final overview cards. We have the Five of Cups. I think there's going to be, some disappointments over the course of the year, but certainly no more than this year. And, the Five of Cups is really crying over spilled milk. There's nothing that bad about this card that, it's just minor disappointments, which every year has those, right? And then we have the Six of Cups reversed. So this is all about nostalgia and things returning from your childhood. I think it's possible that you were hoping that something might come back from your childhood, or you were feeling nostalgic about something that really and truly is gone from your life during this time. That's not to say that it's not going to come back, but it won't come back in 2020. And it's more important to be able to act on like a lot of the stuff that I see here that's really going to be propelling your life forward, that looks really good. Let's see what the final card is. That is the Knight of Pentacles. So that's money coming in, and it's coming in with a quickness, like an urgency, an agency, money with agency coming in, because he's not reversed. He's definitely coming in. So it could be news of new money. Probably like culminating in September. All right, now one thing that I'm doing for the yearly forecasts is I'm going to draw 3 more cards, and this deck is specifically not a fortune-telling deck. This deck is a meditation deck, and it's the 72 Names of God, which is from a closed system. It is based in Judaism and the Kabbalah. These are the Hebrew names of God, and they're not so much names as reverberations of the spirit that bring you to a higher spiritual plane and do bring you closer to God. You don't have to believe in God, but you do have to work within systems when they're closed systems, when it's like a religion that's very clearly defined. You have to be respectful of that. So I certainly would not use these cards as fortune-telling cards. But I would take a reading like this and pull 3 cards from this deck to give you some tools to aid you through the coming year. And as a reminder too that, if anybody is always going to have your back, it's the divine creator. People will talk about how, oh, God forsakes me, this and that. But, there's a lot of people out there. And especially like a place like Los Angeles, there's just a lot of energy floating around all the time. I was literally just talking yesterday to a fellow creative, Rich Polysorbate, about the energies that different places hold. And it's very easy to pin down. This one for sure. It's very easy to pin down if you're in an abandoned hotel that nobody's stepped foot in 20 years. It's a little more difficult to pin down if somebody gets stabbed there every week. Then you just have a place that's just got generally terrible energy, and you pretty much know why, but it's not very specific. But by that same token, you can also cultivate really awesome and amazing energies in your life. Now, I do want to quickly mention that Rich Polysorbate does have a YouTube channel where he does like some urban exploring. There's a lot of art, video art on that channel as well, and you should go check it out if you feel like. I don't know his astrological sign, so I don't know if it's relevant. It's only relevant as far as the story is concerned. All right. Forget thyself. Lamed He Chet. I now transcend the limits of my own being. I cling to the tree of life. Happiness finds me now that my ego is out of the spotlight. I can get out of my own way, letting go of all stubbornness. That's very good. Lamed He Chet. We have silent partner. Yod Resh Tav. Tithing and meditation upon this sequence of letters removes the dark force's presence from my earnings and its destructive influence from my life. The light is now my silent partner. I am surrounded by endless blessings and protection. It's a partnership made in heaven. And we have here unconditional love. He Ayin. Like attracts like. When I emulate the Creator's love for all humankind, I bring love into my own life. I create harmony between myself and other people, and between humanity and the natural world. All right, so there we go. Those are your 3 meditations for the upcoming year. I hope that they're helpful to you. And yeah, I think overall it's going to be a really good year for you. I do see a lot of growth potential here. I do see some difficult interpersonal situations to navigate. But, I mean, I feel like you're pretty much over them. It's just that here in December, I think that you're feeling like pretty burned out on human interaction, especially because here in November, we have you kind of going into isolation as well. So just be mindful of that coming up on the end of the year. It can be really easy to self-isolate. And everybody needs time to recuperate. Just make sure that you're taking time for yourself emotionally and making space for yourself emotionally throughout this process, so it doesn't all just like slam down on top of you at the end of the year. All right, Pisces, thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you've enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I do have information about getting personal readings and about my Patreon in the description of this video. So do check out my website if you would like a personal reading. And I do have January readings up, so you can watch that if you haven't. And until February, I hope that you have a good new year, and I'll see you soon.